Alright, I've got a Kenmore electric range oven that is coming up on 15 years of age here. This past week I've noticed when I turn on the bake feature or the broil feature or the convect bake feature, no matter what temperature I set the oven to, it won't get any hotter than about 120 degrees, no matter how long it runs. And so what I've done is I've taken the back of the stove off, I've taken out the elements, checked the elements using an ohm meter to make sure that the elements are not burnt out. I've checked the ohms of the thermostat as well. Looks like it's good, right within manufacturer spec range. So the last item that I could check is the control board that runs behind the back panel here. This is what the control board looks like on the back of this guy when you order one of these. Bunch of your wires plug into the control board. It's got some relays here to turn on and off your elements, and I believe this big one here listed as 240 volt is what controls the heating elements themselves, this being a 240 volt oven. So I suspect over nearly 15 years of use, daily, almost daily use, multiple hours a day sometimes, this relay kicking on and off to keep the oven temperature at the desired level. Probably got some carbon buildup on the contacts inside there. Maybe it isn't allowing full amount of current to pass through those contacts and into the heating elements. That's my assumption, that's my theory. So I'm going to go ahead and take the back of the stove off here. We'll unbolt the old one, pop in the new one, and see if that fixes it for us. Alright, so like I said, I've already taken the back of the stove off, and I've already checked the elements themselves. If you're to the point where you're getting ready to check your elements, you'll want to go ahead and take off both the upper and the lower back panels. There's about a dozen of these 1/4 inch screws that hold that back panel in place. Since I've already checked all the elements on the lower half, I don't need to bother taking that off again. I only took off the top half. So behind here you can see the back of the surface element switches along with that control board, its relays, its touchscreen. It's an all-in-one unit. So there's a couple connectors here to disconnect, 3 across the bottom, 1 on the side, as well as a red and a black wire with a spade style connector they just pull off. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and undo these wire connectors. There are 4 more Phillips screws that hold this control board into place. We'll pull that guy off and see if we can swap him out with the other one. Okay, when you buy a replacement control board, they may or may not come with this ribbon touchscreen to it, so double check what it is you're buying. They're pretty cheap just to get the kit that comes with this guy on there. You can use a heat gun or a hair dryer to pull this guy off and move him on to your new control board. The ribbon cable just connects up in the upper left hand corner of the back there. In my case, the new one came with the ribbon screen already in place. It did not come with the white plastic button cover that we see here. So what I did is I took the old one of these down to the workshop, got out the hot air gun, slowly started to warm the surface, and then the white part peeled off. That's important because it's not just decorative. That white cover is what makes electrical contact when you push down on these buttons here. Makes contact on this board here. So what I've done is I've already swapped over the face. This is the old one. This is the new one with the face already put back on it. And you can see here that I've already bolted this guy back in place, and I've got all the wiring connectors. I'll get a little closer there. Yours may differ, but this is what mine look like. I'm going to go ahead and put the back on to this stove. I'll go turn back on the breaker, and then we'll come back and see if the element's hot up. Alright, so I flipped the breaker back on. I set the time on there just to see if this fixes our issues. I went ahead and set it to broil, forced that top element to get as hot as it can as quickly as it can. I could have put it on bake or convect bake and waited 20 minutes to see if it got to temperature. Since broil, bake, and convect bake, none of those three would get hot before, I'm just going to put it on broil. We'll give it a quick few seconds here to warm up and see if we get a hot element or not. Let's take a look, see if we can see it through the window here. Oh yeah, those are getting nice and hot. So that appears to be our fix. The elements are in great shape. The thermostat is in great shape. It appears to have been something with this control board here. I still suspect it was relay contacts. In fact, now that I know that I don't need this one anymore, I may take this downstairs, see if I can get this guy apart and see any sort of corrosion or sooty buildup on there. Just to give you an idea of what I was experiencing before, I would turn the stove on. I had no errors, no warning messages. I could even press the bake, set it to a temperature, and press start. I would hear the relay click. I would hear it engage in back. Still no errors, no warnings. It just wouldn't fully heat to the proper temperature. So if those are some symptoms you have, and you've checked your elements and you've checked your thermostat as well, it might indeed be the control board. And apparently these are a pretty common universal item. Works for a lot of different brands. This particular make and model is good for a long list of brands. So I'll stick the model number of my stove down in the description. Otherwise, hopefully this will help someone else out. Alright, just to follow on here, I'm watching this oven heat up for a little bit. This is maybe a new feature on a slightly newer revision of the board compared to the one that came with my stove 15 years ago. It looks like on the new revision of the board, it shows the actual temperature of the oven as it's warming up and what temperature it's holding to. I set it to bake at 350 and I've been watching it climb here slowly ever since. So that's a pretty neat feature. The other board would just simply display 350 at all times to let you know that was the target temperature it was aiming for. This revised board is kind of nice. I know exactly what temperature it is and how it's progressing. So hey, let me know if you've taken apart one of these control boards, or you've discovered another component on the board that may have broken other than the relay. Super curious. Otherwise, thanks for watching.